Okay, so we are here with Benny from Pierce, Los Angeles Pierce College, who is going to talk to us about building your own AI chatbot. And I will let you introduce yourself and give us more information about yourself. So I'm handing it over.
Sure. Thank you, Laurie. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benny A. I teach chemistry, as you can tell from my background. So that's my background. I've been with Los Angeles Pierce College for 8 years, and I got the invitation actually from Amanda because we're actually part of the coaches, and coaches basically working with student and outcome and assessment. So I'm also the college outcomes coordinator at Los Angeles Pierce College. So it's definitely my pleasure to share what I have been trying to do. And hopefully by the end of this hour, you have something ready, for today. Okay. That's the plan. Okay. It may not be perfect, but you will have something. Okay. Then you have your first part. Okay. So that's the goal. The as my understanding, the workshop will be recorded, and I will also share my presentation, like the link with the group, so that later on you can go back and look at it. Okay, so don't feel like you have to screenshot everything or just write down everything. So I'll share the presentation afterward. Okay, so to get started, so not sure where everyone's background is, but I only have kind of very quick slides. So I basically, okay, chatbot is just a computer program. You can ask question and it'll respond so that it's almost like you're having a conversation with human. I'm not going to talk into about like the whole history about the AI and all that stuff because let's do something more hands-on practical because I'm a chemist. Okay, so the theory history, you can always read it. People always talk about it. I think they spend way too much talking about the history. Okay, so some of the chatbot that you've heard about, OpenAI ChatGPT, that's the first one that kind of launch it out and just kind of like get everyone excited. And then follow that, you have Google, Microsoft, and then Poll is actually what we'll be using today. Of course, last but not least, hopefully all my images show up. We also have a chatbot at your own school. So don't forget. So you already have one as well, and you can actually in like different languages like in English, Chinese, and Spanish. Okay, so this is from your school website. So we're already using it. Okay, so why do I want to use Poll in this case? There's so many platforms out there. I think sometime you may have to get on the waiting list, but Poll is something that you can just sign up and start practicing until you get other like educational, more specific chatbot. But the whole idea is very similar, like the kind of instruction that you're giving to the bots and all the features. Okay, so Poll in terms of accessibility for the student, that's not really like a subscription. You could if you want to use more powerful model, but you don't. Okay, you can get the free version, you can play with it, and I think that's good. They have multiple model to choose from. So unlike earlier, if you look for like OpenAI ChatGPT, you pay for the subscription. You can only use the OpenAI, the ChatGPT, the model. Okay, but if you want to use like Google and you want to do more the advanced features of the Google, maybe you have to subscribe that or you have to switch, right? So I like having that one platform that you can try different model as you go. And I'm going to give you some time later on to try that as well. You can ask the same questions like, okay, what kind of response will I get if I switch to a different model? So you can get an idea like, okay, which one will actually be most suitable for your need. And there's also no program experiences needed. So you give instruction. Multiple platform, the web version. Later on when I share the screen, it'll be the web version, the browser. So if you have the browser computer, that's good. And if you're using your phone, maybe the phone screen size a bit smaller, then some of the toolbar maybe you have to click a bit more the menu to show up. Mac window doesn't matter. It's all the same. You can use that. And some of the sharing features is quite easy in terms of like you can share the link to your student, they can use it. they can, and then it's just very easy to do. So I think you just, test it out, and you can also make your bots private too. Like if you don't want it to be searchable, that's okay. You can make it public, you can make it private. Okay. So that's kind of why I choose Poe at the beginning, because sometimes I wasn't able to get my hands on some of the other programs. They have a very long waiting list, but I want to practice. So I think this is a good training ground to play with. So let's get started again. I'm a chemist. I want people to get their hands dirty. So let's get with the step number one. Actually, step zero. Step zero is basically go to poe.com, https poe.com, and then if you have a Gmail, you can use your Gmail to create an account. And then once you log in, you can start actually, check out some of the bots that they have already. So let me share this different screen. I should hopefully be able to share more than one screen. Is that possible for Mac? It's an option. Exactly. Okay. Let's see. It seems like I can only switch. Amanda, do you know if I can switch, click on more than one screen and share in a Mac?
I am not a Mac person, unfortunately.
Really? Okay. So, okay.
Yeah,
Then,
I
no
am no
worries.
help. I apologize.
No worries. And then you copy the link and then I put in the chat so that at least we don't even have to type this much. Okay. So at least I know this much. And then into the chat. And this is the link. Okay, this is the link in the chat. Okay. Once you create the account, then you will be in here. Okay. Let me double see, check. Okay, yeah, so you can see this is the screen. Okay. So maybe I give everyone about 5 minutes or so until maybe 5:15. Feel free to click on like the explore. They have different, this is different
And for those of
model
us
that you can.
not in Hong Kong, Benny means 2:15.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Sorry. Yes. I'm looking at my watch. It's like, wait, what do I mean? Okay. What am I talking about? Yes. So yeah, you can look at popular. This is something that people have created. You can get an idea what people have tried to do. They have, image generation, but our focus today will be more like just the prompt, just basically the text kind of bot. But you can play, okay? Some kind of learning bot, Mr. Teacher GPT, math software, so economic, university, chemical, see, biology, will make all kinds of stuff that you can play with and get an idea what they have done. So most likely what we're going to do is not new, but at least it has something that with your own information in it. Okay.
So
So
these are bots that people have made.
yeah.
Okay.
There's no languages is you don't need to do any programming for the very basic one. So you will, by the end of this session, actually, you will be actually able to make one yourself, and then you can actually share with other people. Yeah. So it looks very intimidating, but actually it's not. It's a lot easier than most people think. So again, just make a Gmail, just use a Gmail and then just log in and just explore. All right, I figured out how to do it. Okay. Okay, so it's 2:15. Yes, I need to look at the clock on my computer. Yep, it's 2:15. So let's get ready to hopefully get some time to log in. try to see the variety of model that is offered to you. So basically, you can see like Claude's popular recently, GPT, that different model of the GPT. Maybe some of the tasks that we're doing, we may not necessarily need the most powerful GPT. And then Llama is another one. The Google, you can see it's like every model that they have, they can kind of put it there, so it's a very nice collection, different model that we can play with for later on. And what you can see them in here, you'll be able to play with that later. Okay, so step number 1, now officially we're ready to do step number 1. Okay, see, we're very hands-on. So now we can actually start creating our bot. So on your top left corner, you should see the icon that say create bot. So please click on the create bot button. If you don't see the create bot button, maybe you're on a phone device. So that will actually look more like this. So you just have to click on this like hamburger menu that I always say. It's like the 3 horizontal line. And then the create bot button will appear for you if you are logging in with your phone. Sometimes for phone, the default is they hide all the sidebar. So if you click on create bot, then you should see these images right now. And since we have a small group, if people can give me a thumbs up that they're okay, they're able to find, like, they can click on the button, then that will be very good. Thank you there. And if you have question or difficulty navigating, finding the button, let me know, and I'm happy to help as well. Okay. And of course, the next one that we're going to do, not a surprise. We're just going to look at, where did it go? Collapse. Yep. Open. Yep. Select the box type, right? So for us today, I think we'll be focused mainly on the prompt. Okay, so this is the one that having that conversation. Student can ask question, the prompt, the chatbot will actually reply to you. So this is the one that we'll be focusing on today. Of course, later on, when you have more time, you can explore like, oh, I want to create a bot that create images. So people talk about it and then it will generate image. Okay, so that you can explore later. Video generation, it will require subscription because that will be like the model that requires subscription. So it has this new feature, like just not that long ago, but then it requires subscription. So this one, we cannot do it. The server bot is the one that's more complicated. It requires some programming, connecting through the server. So, but we are not a high-end user today. So that's not something that we'll get into. So I will say prompt is the one that we can get it done within an hour. I will say definitely. Okay, role play I think is very similar, but we can start the prompt. Role play later on, I think it could be good for like practicing language. That could be some idea that we can play. So let's just start with the prompt. The prompt. Okay, then you see all the little things that you have. So we can start begin our customization. As you can see, like you can providing pictures of your bot. As you can see earlier, when you first log in, when you're exploring, people put different kind of images so that it have to be like a blob of a cloud or cotton candy. The profile picture, you can change it. Anything you want. I think that's important. And then the descriptive name, this is just randomly generated. So you can make it to something that more descriptive. It could be like your class, that what you have, or something like, it can be like a syllabus bot, or for your class, like for me it's like chemistry bot or something. It can be like English conversation partner or ESL conversation partner. It depends on whatever name that you want to do. I think that's very easy to talk about. Then we talk about the behavior. So the behavior, the bot, this is the one that we choose what kind of model. Okay. So earlier, as you may explore at the beginning, under the official, they have different bots available. Okay. So what you see here, you can see like Claude 3.5, ChatGPT 4.0, ChatGPT 4 the latest. You can keep looking at all the different kind, and you can see some of them will require subscription. Okay, so we just don't use those. Okay, it's more powerful, but again, maybe we don't really need it. Oftentimes, for the stuff that we do, we should be able to get that done without having to pay for the subscription. Okay, so if you're saying like, wow, that's like very overwhelming, then we can always just pick, start with the two, right? And see um, how you like the answer. You can always switch it later on. When you edit your bot, you can always change it later. Okay. So, and also depending on what you want to do. So for example, some of the language model is really good at doing like coding, writing, right? So that may be something that more appealing to you. Okay. Or sometimes you want a model that can be just quicker respond. Okay. So that'll be the one. Okay. That's where you have to kind of see what you want to do. Then you can go from there. Okay. Sometimes you can see different name, like based on the same model. It's basically how long the question can be, like the context. But again, oftentimes should be pretty fine. I'll say we can just start with this. But if you want to look at the full details about the description, you can go back to Explore with a new tab, and you can just click on them. Okay, so now you can see, okay, what is good about this one? Okay, really good at coding, writing, analysis, visual processing. Okay, so that's good to know. And they said if you want a longer message, then you can try to use this one with the 200K, longer number of, character that can be used. Okay, so those are the one that you can play with, and it's like, okay, you read it, then you play, okay, what happened if I want to do just the mini? Okay, that's one of the options. So latest model, intelligent, small model, cheaper, faster than the GPT 3.5 Turbo, optimizing the speed and the cost. So, and we'll talk about the cost, okay? Like we don't have to really pay as a user every day. I think you can get like a 3,000 coins or whatnot. And then you can see like, okay, so if I use this model, it's only going to cost 15 coin per message. So you can have that means your student will be able to ask how many questions you can doing the math, basically 3,000 divided by 15. Okay, so 200 some messages. Okay, so that you can pick one right now. I don't think it's going to make that much difference as a demonstration process. But what I do want to talk about is the prompt. Okay, because the prompt is actually all the good stuff that we need to do. Okay. Prompt for my email. Okay, this is we finish this one. Collapse image, catchy face, collapse, and then begin a customization, collapse, and then the prompt. Okay. Okay. So I would say maybe you can focus more on the screen on the presentation at this point. So that's a basic structure. If the screen is too small, let me know. I'm happy to make them larger for people. Just let me know. So I would say have a background section. Okay. Think about, okay, you basically when you talk to the bot for a conversation bot, you're basically talking in a second person. Okay, so you are an expert in what area, like your discipline. Like, so for me, it would be like, oh, you're an expert in chemistry. If I want to create a chemistry bot, and then the role of the bot, what do you want the bot to do, right? So something to think about. And then that your target audience. You can talk about, okay, you're talking to community college student. Maybe this is the thought about for ESL, they may have English as their second language, they're learning English and all that. So you put that a little bit more background information there. So you can have that, a little background session. Then I find it useful to have a workflow. So basically, it's like the best easiest way to think about the workflow is like basically you're giving a very detailed instruction for the bot. It's like cooking. If you look at the cooking recipe, it's like step one, okay? Like clean the pan or something. And then you just start doing all this like, step-by-step procedure. That's like the instruction, okay? And then after that, then you can have a little conversation rules saying like be kind, be sensitive, or you just want to say, have a sense of humor. So you can also have that depending on style, the tone that you want to write, want to be more caring. That's the kind of typical professional caring. And then if it's necessary, you can also say like, oh, try to limit your response to less word. But that's just something for you to think about. You don't have to do that. Okay. This is just kind of the basic structure. Okay. Now, in terms of some of the more details, okay, as I mentioned, again, don't worry, you have this entire presentation. Okay. So it's not something that you will have to like screenshot and copy everything. Okay. You will have that presentation later on. So again, this is for the prompt bot. So you address it as a second person. Okay. If you're creating an image bot, then you don't talk about in second person. It's very strange things. I find it, but we are focusing on just making a prompt bot today, just a chat bot. So say in second person. So for example, I say, okay, you explain chemistry. You try to respond people question in a caring and patient manner. Right. So just very simple. That kind of going through this kind of the conversation, the background. Try to be clear. So you can start reading like, okay, your response should be clear, concise, and accurate. This is about the international curriculum, the IB biology, high-level syllabus. So you can upload document later on. So you can see, you can have very detailed instruction. And sometimes I find it like if you want to provide additional description for poll, let's say you can use square bracket. Okay, so for example, respond to every user message like this, hello there, and then appreciate for use sending a message. So this is like additional description. So this is something that specifically to poll, I think. So if you want to have additional detail, then you use a square bracket.
So will Poe then put a different appreciative to the user for sending a message? It creates one within those confines.
Yeah, they can create it. Yes, it would be very similar to, yeah, all the bots construction for the bot is very, very similar, I would say. And depending on the temperature, not every chatbot let you tune the temperature. The temperature is basically how random or how creative the bot could be, meaning sometimes it's too creative that they give out fake information. So if you lower the temperature, then it will give you more consistent answers. So that will be something that you'll be playing with later on, and I'll show you. And then of course you can also do markdown. So for me, I create some kind of like chemistry quiz bot. So the student can ask a topic, then the bot will give them multiple choice question. And you can say like, don't give them calculus. Okay, that's not our prerequisite. Like something algebra should be okay, but no calculus. Question should be like year one college level, just kind of tailored for my students. So I have more description about like, general chemistry and all that. And then you can tell them like, hey, give them question. And then it can be a multiple choice question, but don't tell them the answer until they respond to you. So that's where the workflow come in. You can say first ask a question, then wait for the answer. And then you can say, okay, if they answer correctly, then you say this. If they do not answer correctly, then you give them the explanation. So those are the part of the workflow, depending on what you want to create. So some chat. Let me see. Good thing about, yes, the temperature. And then,
I
so
have a
now, mhm.
I have a question. It says using markdowns can sometimes help the bot better. What are markdown? What do you, I know you might have said that, but I was playing with my bot. Sorry.
Not yet, not yet. Markdown sometimes is I think they put it more standard, like for like coding,
Okay.
they slightly put them in a different format. It's easier to see. So for me, for the markdown, I hear is that I kind of putting down like the rules, like I add additional rules of the context.
Okay.
So something kind of like part of the workflow is like similar to like conversation rules, right? This like be kind and all that. But then you can also say for my quiz bots is like don't give them, calculus math question involved to solve a chemistry problem. So sometimes again, it's just try to break it down so that the bot is easy to understand. Sometimes you can say something like, oh, you know, make sure you talk about this denoted by like a triple backtick. Like triple backtick is not like a common thing that people use. People usually use like quotation mark. So when you say like triple backtick, then it's a very specific segment of the thing that you want the boss to grab. So you can define things like this. So some of the technique that I find people try to do. Yeah, thank you, David, for sharing the markdown. So that's pretty much like what we have to try. Again, we're not doing image generation bots because it's already 2:30. We have to make sure we move along. Now, this is something that I like, is that the knowledge base. Okay, so now if I may, let me share back with the share screen together. Okay, so basically what we have just talked about is the how to create the bot, this session. The knowledge base, what is a knowledge base? Basically, you can upload your file. So for example, if this is about a syllabus, you can upload your syllabus. You know how many times we have to respond to students say, this is in the syllabus? Every day, every single day. When is this assignment due? It's in the syllabus. When is the exam again? It's in the syllabus. What are we going to have any late penalty? What's the late submission policy? It's in the syllabus. It's in the syllabus. Everything is in the syllabus. Okay.
Benny, when
Don't
we go
worry.
through this create a bot process, are we able to go back and edit it? Okay.
Yes. So what you create is not, it's an iterative process. So that's why at the end, once you play it, you try it, you realize something that works well, something that doesn't work well, then you will go back to the prompt, and then maybe you have to give more instruction. So this is not like a one-time set and done. It's like you try it, you play it, you break it, and then you add more instruction. So it's a little, but you don't need to do any programming. Okay. So let me talk about the uploading the file. So for example, I create a chemistry bot. For example, I will get for example, I get some OpenStack document like in chemistry. I have to chunk it, okay, because the OpenStack, the PDF files are too big. Because each file can only be 50 megabytes. So I have to break it down by chapter. And then I feed it into the bot. Okay. I think 5 GB should be pretty okay for most of the stuff that we're doing for like document. I mean, you rarely have a document that's like 5 GB. So I kind of upload the stuff that from the OpenStack, and then they have this is my content base. So I want to get it from the content base from the PDF that I upload, which is the OER stuff. Then at least they're not going to internet and then searching for some stuff. So that's one use that I'm trying to do, is that I just create some chemistry bots. And then I saw a hands up, but let me finish this thought and then we'll be right with your Lina. And then as you do your source, you have the button that say, do you want to give citation of your source? So that's up to you. But I find this useful. You can upload the file, basically the text file, PDF file, document, and HTML. Those are the accepted file to upload. And each file is like, don't go over 50 megabytes. So you have to look the file size. Yes, Lena? You're muted.
I'm trying to find the unmute button. I'm doing too many things on my screen at the same time. Okay, very quickly. When you upload, your files, and by your files, I'm assuming, let's say, files of notes that we've compiled or whatever, if we've written something. Where does this go? Where does this file go? Does it just become now, this PO?
No, it does not belong to the PO.
Okay.
The files are just what you have. It does not belong to the PO, the training stuff. It's just your stuff.
Okay, but is it out there for also others to use it? Those files, or
it's only for you. So
okay.
Yeah, well, I think that's the part. Like, if you worry, I think maybe don't check the site sources. So I think depend on, like, so for me, it's like if I do a syllabus bot, and I was like, yes, I don't mind citing my syllabus, like this page of my syllabus. But if it's something that is more like your personal knowledge that you may not necessarily want to be shared, you want to be on the more safe side, like your own personal notes, let's say, then you can just uncheck the button. So you answer the question, but without giving the citation.
Okay, and you do not have to use your own files. Can you? I haven't clicked on that. So can you use, let's say, AI as the knowledge source?
Yeah, you don't have to upload any file if you want. That's just your option. So sometimes you want to do something more custom, right? So that's why it depends on what you want. I have created a bot just to answer student question about my syllabus. So then I just upload my syllabus, and then I'll say everything will be based on try to find the answer from my syllabus. So this is the one part that you need to the keyword, since we talk about the knowledge source. It's like so if you upload a file into PO, you'll say, okay, you'll be provided retrieve documents. So I create a bot before for Creative Commons. So it's like, okay, I upload a bunch of files from Creative Commons. So it's like, okay, you have to provide retrieve the document, respond in a style that it may provide a text from the retrieve the document. So it could be some example, like let's say you have some, depending on your discipline, it could be example of student work that you want to share, or you want the AI to kind of imitate that style. I think that really depending on what you really want to do. So you have the flexibility. You can say, okay, this is a sample essay, kind of the style that you're looking for. This would be like the grading rubric things that you're looking for. I think those are the options that you may have. Did I answer your question, Nina?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and then Deb, you have your hands up earlier, and you are muted. Let me.
Sorry about that. I'm just having a hard time naming my bot. Like every time I try something, they said it's already taken. What do I do?
With maybe make a bot with your name.
I did. Oh, a bot with my name. Oh, okay. I'll try that. Thanks.
Yeah. Again,
I have everything else done, and it just won't go because it keeps telling me that name is taken.
you can always change the name later. You can make it as a private, and then you can change the name later. The whole point is hopefully by the end we have something that you can play with. Okay. And then so moving along, so I think we talked about the knowledge base. Then the greeting message. Greeting message is what the people will see when they first click on your bot. It's like the greeting message. So I think that's very self-explanatory, like what it does. So we talk about the greeting message, the advanced option. Okay, so advanced option. I think this is now where we start hitting those key topics. Suggested reply. Do you want the LLM, the model, the bot, giving responses. So sometimes you may have, they can do some suggested reply. The one that is important, I would say, is the temperature. Okay. So this is what I find out from other places. As I mentioned earlier, if depending on what kind of activities for your bot, a high temperature means it's very creative. Sometimes it's so creative that they give us the wrong information. If you're doing more like a moderate temperature, then you can get more like a different responses. Okay. If your bots, for example, like you don't even want any variation, it's like, for example, like just use all the questions should be based on my knowledge source. Then you can try to temperature as possible. Okay, it's not going to be as fun and entertaining, but at least it's more factual information. So you get some idea you can play with, like depending on what you want your boss to be. Okay, if let's say your boss is about brainstorming ideas for internship or career opportunity or whatnot, right? Then maybe you want the temperature to be higher. Okay, but if your boss is more about factual information, then you want the temperature to be lower. And this is the part that I find is useful. I have this freedom to choose the range. Okay, so that is something again you can play with, because I don't know what bot you're making, but that's the again, this is not like hard boundary, right? I mean, this is like a continuum. You just give you a sense of what will be considered low temperature, moderate, and high temperature. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah. You don't want your boss to tell students that the exam was like in 2050. So that would not be a good way. It's very creative. It's like, oh, we don't have exam, or tell the student that you don't have exam for this class. Like, no, that's not true. We have exam. So you can play with that. And the bot profile. So you can describe, so the bot profile is like before they kind of engage, like the user engage with your bot, basically explaining what your bot is doing. So basically like the self introduction of your bot. So like, okay, what does that do? Okay. And then of course you can make it accessible. So meaning it's searchable by the public. Can it be, other similar bot? Do you want this recommendation to be on or off? You have this option. The prompts in the bot profile, I think I usually just turn it off. It's like because all the hard work that you're doing in here, you may not necessarily want to share. So in that case, I would just hide it. If you click on this button, then your entire workflow, the process, people can see it. Okay. So right now I just turn it off. Okay. Any questions up to this point? I want to make sure that like we're at a good speed, but not too quick that people feel overwhelmed.
I still can't get it to take any name I give it. It just keeps giving me red letters and telling me that that's not going to work. And I wonder if there's some kind of setting on my computer that's keeping me from.
It has to be under 20 characters. Are
Oh,
you keeping
yeah.
it under? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to do Amanda Tainter ID because Amanda Tainter with no spaces was taken, which I must have played around some point in time and made a bot and forgot about it.
Yeah, I just can't get it to do. So
Put like
I've filled everything else out and
put like
okay.
Deb partner tutorial reading writing center or something like that. I did English partner 1A.
Okay. I'll try it again. I don't know. It doesn't like me, Ben.
I cannot.
I had a question.
Sure.
And I forgot what I know where it says where the bot is private. Like if I want to use a bot with my students, but I don't want it open to the public domain, do I make it private and then I can copy it so only they can see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in that case you will need to send them the link.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and then this portion, I think it's a feature they have it like about 4 or 5 months ago. But again, normally you could like some of the bots that you could make money. Usually I just don't even I don't check it on when I make the bots for my student. And then or I will set it like a ridiculously like very low prices. Like if they really want me to put a money amount, I'll put like 1 cent like for like 1,000 message. I mean it's like some ridiculously amount that pretty much like it's not gonna profit driven, I would say. So they have like depending on the model they're using, this is how much of the little token or the point that each message will cost. Remember, like if as a user you get 3,000, okay. So if you start increasing the amount, then you will see that it will cost a lot more point, okay, for the user. Okay, so if you want to make it accessible for your student, so just set that to like 0, then it's like 30 points. They got like 3,000 points. So it's like 100 message per day. So if they really have 100 messages, I think they should just start seeing us in the office hour. So that's kind of like my 2 cents. And then after that, then, click on the box. Some of the bots that I made, I make some syllabus bots as before. So I can just say, what is this class? And then loading from my knowledge base. I have my reference. So pretty quick, we can get that information. How to succeed in this class. So this is kind of what I had actually in syllabus. I'm like how to be successful in the class. So for me, it's like part of my syllabus. So if student actually asks about how to succeed in the class, they just to retrieve that point, and then it will just highlight it for the student. Okay, so that's kind of the stuff that you can do. So those are some of the bots. And then I have a bot, again, it's a syllabus bot. And then it's a testing. I was like, okay, this is like old one, okay? So let's say, okay, what is chemistry? Let's see what is. So basically this bot is basically take my syllabus based on the question, translate it back into Spanish. So and you can do other different bots. You can see like you can do different compare this answer with this web search. We can compare. But that's the idea you can get. So you can actually do translation. People can ask question, translate it. The chemistry is the study of the material and properties. I don't really remember my Spanish, but I think this looks like material, this looks like properties. But that's the idea that you can create. The more recent bots that I try to make is first I ask question about the student, like what will be their preferred language to use. And then once they input, let's say Spanish or Chinese, Japanese, Korean, then the bot will start talking in that language and then asking them the topics. So those are the ideas you build and you can explore and try. And I think that's the purpose of the session. And then let's see, let me make sure. And of course, finishing we talk about the creation. Yep, click the button, then you get your box, and then you can start playing. Okay. Now as I mentioned before, it's really like an iterative process. We always need to, you know, once you create a bot, right, then you can start playing with it or have your student play with it and try to ask this 3 questions, right? The bot that you create, does that meet what you want to do, right? And then what is something that your chatbot is doing really well already, or what is something that you want to improve in the future, okay? So it could be something that you play with it, your colleague play with it, your student play with it, they get some feedback, and then you can modify afterward. Okay, so I think this is something, keep that in mind. It's not one and done. You can always go back to the edit with your bot, and then that can go from there. So let me see, I should be able to show you like my bot, for example. So this is like, I create this one. And I can say, once you go back to the bot, you can click on the 3 dots that say more action. You can say edit bot. And then you can see, okay, I was using 3.5 turbo, the older one. I tell my bot this is a syllabus bot based on the question. If the information is not within the retrieve document, remember retrieve document, tell the student to ask me, and then offer a random science fact, right? So and the random science fact, because the temperature setting I did wasn't too high, it may not be too creative. So if people keep asking irrelevant question, then the jokes or whatnot, it will be repeated after like maybe like 4 or 5 times, you know. So I have my syllabus. That's all I have. I have one document. I have my syllabus. I share my source, and then just a very simple hello there. Have a good day. My profile just like this is a syllabus box. Okay, make it public document, and then make them. You can see I use a lower model now. 3.5 is the older model. So that means now in terms of how much point is even less. Okay. And then let's see, I think that's pretty much what we have. And I set the temperature pretty low as well, like 3.35. Okay. So that's very quick. And then of course I have pictures of my syllabus, or my little icon that I made before, Camp 60 with Professor Benny. So this is the image I have, and the school. So that's the picture. And of course, I hope I hope you get a nice walkthrough about how do you make your first bot. And we step about 7 minutes, which is perfect for Q&A.
This is great. I have a question. I teach English, and
Mhm.
yeah, I was just grading before we got on the presentation, and I had a student who great ideas, pretty developed paragraphs, but the grammar is horrible. And I thought like a grammar bot would be good, but there's a part of me that just kind of wants to send them to Grammarly. But so what, like, I get like maybe a syllabus bot would be good. Like, when do you think is a good place for a bot as opposed to just using a tool that's already out there?
I think when you design it, the tool, you can emphasize like the pedagogy, right? We do want to focus on the learning. So for example, I will like for the grammar bots, usually you can create something like, okay, don't tell like we can be like, okay, maybe review the rules of the grammar. Give it something more than just, okay, here's the paragraph, fix all the grammar, spit it out. You can say don't just highlight all the sentences that has grammar mistake. I think it can go from there. Like start with the thought process. Okay, because like for me, English is not my first language, right? So if I want to learn better grammar, it's like, okay, don't tell me the answer yet. Highlight the sentence, and then maybe you tell me what the error is. Maybe it's like common splices or run-on sentence or whatnot, right? At least I understand now, then I focus, okay, the sentence again. Oh, okay, do I even know what that means, right? Or what is run-on sentence, right? If I don't know, then I can start asking. So I think in terms of the workflow, maybe you have to chunk it more option, like ask more question. So in between the steps, so that student have to give in some response. Like let's say identify the violation of the run-on sentence, then the bot can ask, do you understand what run-on sentence is, right? Give, and then you can give and then ask the bot like, okay, if the student say no, give 3 examples of run-on sentences, and then give and then also offer like how would you change it so that it won't so that will become correct grammar, right? So then for us you just have to add more layers in between,
Okay.
and so that's why that workflow will be important. So yeah, of course, if the student they don't want to learn, they can just hop into all the other different tools that give them the direct answer, right? But for the student who want to learn, I think that's what we're trying to do is like, how do we bridge that gap, right? That it's like 2 in the morning, they're writing your paper, that you're sleeping. And then, but then we still want to offer some kind of like, learning support, the scaffolding. So basically like the bot is like the scaffolding, in my opinion. Like I will ask like questions, okay, what topic do you don't understand in chemistry? So this type of topic, then okay, let me ask you a few questions about that topic, just to see if they have any prior knowledge. And then if they, after maybe 2 or 3 questions, if they really don't understand, okay, so now let me, and then provide explanation. If they got it wrong, provide explanation. And then after that, I have a next question for students like, okay, are you ready for some self-assessment? And then if the student say yes, then my program will say you give 5 multiple choice questions again, 1 at a time, wait for the student to respond. If the student got it right, say something positive to them. If the student got it wrong, still say something encouraging, and then explaining the the explanation, what is the correct answer, right? So it's more like a dialogue, but we have to do more of the scaffolding in between. Does that help
Yeah.
answer the question?
No, that's great because I see like I I see a place for AI and I'm starting to see more, but I like that idea of, okay, well, here's a tool that's not just going to give you the answers, but it's also going to give you X, Y, and Z. And so
Mm-hmm,
if you want to learn, and I was playing around with it and I stuck in some
mm-hmm,
sentences and like one of the sentence didn't make sense and it didn't really correct it.
mm-hmm,
And then I asked it, like, can you correct the sentence? And then it came up with a correction. So I can see
mm-hmm,
where it could still be a little funky. So let me ask another question really quickly. So then when you do the prompts, like your prompt might be really long with all the instructions.
mm-hmm.
And is that where then you give the I forget what we called it, the formatting, the where you have the
Yeah,
little hashtags in front of it.
yeah.
Okay.
So let me see if I can pull up my quiz.
And if anyone else has a question, like jump into,
Yeah.
please.
I think let's take a look at this one. This one is like one of the first couple one that I tried to build it, so it's not necessarily perfect, but
Okay.
for me it's like, okay, this is just for Creative Commons. I built a bot while doing a training. I guess I just get bored with my project at that time, and so I just create bots there. So basically the rules just don't ask the same question, right? And then the question must come from the retrieved document. So when they formulate the question, it has to be from the document that I got from the website. So I save
Okay.
all I save them all in the PDF files. I upload them with Creative Commons, copyright law, FAQ, right? And then so they can just everything try to be from here, and that's what I do.
Okay, and the 3 number signs in front of it, does that mean anything or is that just your way of dividing it?
It's just my way of dividing it.
Okay,
I saw that's how they use it in Poe, and I was like, okay, then I'm going to use it.
okay.
Mhm.
No, this is excellent. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you find, or everyone in this room, I hope they find useful. Yes, it's very similar if you have done some custom GPT before, similar idea. But again, I didn't use GPT at that time because it costs money, right? Even if you try to share the GPT, like at the very beginning, not until maybe like a month or two ago. I think 2 months ago, they say, okay, fine, you can just share it with other people for free without the subscription. But before that, from the very beginning, first you need to have a pay account to create a GPT. Then in order for other people to use it, they also need to have a pay account. So that's not that's not going to work for my student or for our student. And that's why I was looking for alternative bots. And then I run into Poe and I say, hey, this is free. And so that's how I started.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a syllabus bot.
Yeah. But make sure you try it. Make sure that the exam dates, everything's correct. Okay. Sometimes they may give wrong information. So I always try to make the temperature very low. Only get it from the retrieved document.
Anyone
you
else?
said,
while we have them here?
We would have a copy to this recording?